Hi guys, good morning. As you notice, I changed scenery a little bit. I'm in our classroom. Don't worry, nobody else is here, but just wanted to change it up. Also, if you're feeling a little classroom sick, give you a little taste of school. Today's warm-up, we're still going to be using the substitution method, but now we're not going to be setting them equal to each other because both equations aren't going to be in slope-intercept form. So looking at the first one, I noticed the first equation isn't in slope-intercept form, and how I know that is it's y equals. But when I look at the second equation is not y equals, it's actually in standard form, which means x and y are on the same side. So how we're going to solve this is we're actually going to substitute our y equals equation into y in our second equation, and it looks like this. And if you want to use colors, I used highlighters when we were in the classroom. Whatever works best for you, please make sure that you do that. So I'm going to grab my red marker, and I'm going to take what y equals, which is 2x plus 8. And I'm going to substitute it in for y in our second equation. So I'm going to rewrite the second equation, 3x plus 2. But when I get to this y, I'm going to pull out the y and put in what y equals, which is what's in my box, which is 2x plus 8 equals 9. So by taking out the y and substituting in my first equation, now notice my entire equation just has x's. There's no y's anymore. So I can solve because I only have one variable. I have parentheses, so the first step in solving is I'm going to distribute, which means I have to multiply to both terms in those parentheses. The 3x just hangs out front, so 3x plus 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 8 is 16 equals 9. So unlike yesterday you had x's on both sides, so you had to add or subtract to get your x's together. Today, the x's are on the same side. So I'm just going to combine them by adding 3x plus 4x to get 7x, then plus 16 is equal to 9. To get x by itself, I have to move the 16 to the other side of the equal sign, so I'm going to subtract 16. 7x is equal to a positive 9 minus 16 is negative 7. Divide both sides by 7, and negative 7 divided by 7 is a negative 1. Now this is only half your answer. Remember, your answer looks like a point with an x coordinate and a y coordinate. We have the x coordinate. To find the y coordinate, I need to substitute this back in. So I'm going to go back to my box because my box told me what y equals. What does y equal? Y equals 2. But now I know what x is. X is negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 plus 8. I can use my calculator. I can use some mental math, whatever I feel more comfortable with. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 8 is equal to 6. So 6 is my y coordinate, and my final answer is the point negative 1, 6. Okay, so that's your first example where you have a y equals equation. You substitute it in to your second equation, which is in standard form. Your second problem, a little bit different, but same concept. When I look at my first equation, I notice it is in standard form. So I can't use it as my substitution equation because I don't have an x equals or a y equals. So I go to my second equation. And even though my second equation isn't in slope-intercept form, it's x equals. X is by itself. So I actually can use this equation, but different from the first problem, because it's an x equals equation, I'm going to put it in for x instead of over here where I put it in for y. When it's a y equals, you substitute for y. When it's an x equals, you substitute for x. So it has nothing to do with whether it's the first equation or the second equation. It's what form it's in. Okay, if it's in standard form, which means x and y are on the same side, you can never substitute it into another equation. Okay, so it's an x equals. So I'm going to rewrite my first equation where I have that red circle around x, I'm going to put in what x equals, which is negative 2y minus 1. So here we go. 4, in place of x, I'm going to put negative 2y minus 1, because that's what x equals, minus 4y equals 20. Now, this time, my entire equation is in y's instead of x's. So I'm going to get y by itself first. I'm going to distribute 4 times a negative 2y is negative 8y. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 minus 4y equals 20. My y's are on the same side of the equal sign. They're both on that left side, so I can combine them. And negative 8y minus a 4y, add and keep the sign, is a negative 12y. Minus 4 equals 20. To get y by itself, I first need to add the 4 over to be with the 20. Negative 12y is equal to 24. Divide by a negative 12. Don't lose that negative in front of the 12. 24 divided by a negative 12 is a negative 2. So I still have half of my answer at this point, but the half that I have is the y coordinate. So when I go to write my point right now, I'm going to put a number in my second spot as opposed to my first spot. So I need to figure out what x equals. So I'm going to go back to this box, which tells me what x equals, and now I have a value to substitute in for y. So using that box, x is equal to negative 2, parentheses, what y equals, which is also a negative 2, minus 1. Negative 2 and negative 2, I'm multiplying. Double negative is a 4, minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And the x coordinate to my solution is 3, negative 2. Okay, so a little bit different. Your warm-up problems will be very similar to these. You can use the video as a guide to go through step by step how to do them. What I noticed is a lot of you like doing it on paper like we do in class and taking a picture and just uploading it and leaving the Google form blank. Totally fine. Very easy for me to grade and give you comments. If you did it yesterday, I returned them last night with your grades on them, so you could see how you did before you do today's warm-up. Okay? If you have any questions, please make sure you use Google Hangout, Remind, email, any of those ways to communicate with me so I can get you help as soon as possible. I will be on from 8 to 12. And then usually I pop in the afternoon while my daughter's taking a nap around like 1:30, and then I'm on at night around like 7:30 after she goes to bed. So if you are having trouble or can't find something, please reach out so we can kind of keep you on top of things. But overall, you guys are doing an excellent job. I have a lot of students doing the Delta Math, asking questions, watching the videos, and finding this kind of individualized approach to learning very helpful. Just make sure that you're asking for help when you need it. If you're having any trouble, as I said, reach out and ask. The last thing is I just want to give a shout out to Eddie because his birthday was on Tuesday, and because we weren't here, we didn't get to celebrate it, so I just wanted to say happy birthday, Eddie. Okay? I'll see you guys soon. Bye.